What's up guys, Dave here from Knives, Gadgets, and More, and today we're going to review a knife. Alright guys, so here we have the Eafengrow, and this model is the EF335. So today we're going to unbox it and go through the features, and I'll give you my thoughts about it. So like I've said before, these Eafengrow knives, I've seen them on Amazon and they're very affordable. Now, even though they're affordable, I have noticed that they're getting pretty good reviews. So I wanted to buy a few of them and see for myself what level of quality you're actually getting for that low price point. So I did review one already. It's this one right here. And since these boxes, these cheap Chinese boxes, come taped up like this, I'm gonna use the other Eafengrow. This one is, what is this one? This one's the EF963. I'm going to use that one to open this one up. Alright, let's see what we get. Okay. Alright, so you get something there. Some tool of some sort. Oh, and this is a pretty big knife. It's a lot bigger than I thought. Which is okay. I like large knives. Let's clear out some of this stuff. Oh, is this tool to adjust the deployment? Might be. Alright. Alright, let's see here. These knives do come with a little bit of oil on them, which is okay. I'd rather them have oil than be corroded and stuff. Alright. Oh. Deployment is pretty smooth. I like that. Alright guys, so having the knife in hand, I've already got some thoughts about it. I have done my homework on this knife. I do have some of the features for you already laid out. So let's go through them. And I'll tell you already that this knife is impressing me. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to talk about is the blade steel. The blade steel is D2, and I noticed already they've got it on the blade right there. D2 is a very good, affordable knife steel. It's a tool steel, I think, but it's very, very tough, very strong. It holds an edge well. It takes a good edge. So for an affordable knife, and this knife is very affordable, I think the steel that you get is definitely very, very good. Now, in terms of the blade shape of this particular knife, the EF335, you get kind of, what is that, a spear point or a drop point? I don't know what you call it, but it looks cool. Looks kind of classy, looks kind of classic. I like it. I think it is pleasing to the eye, aesthetically pleasing. And I do think it will be a very effective cutter. So it isn't super sharp right out of the box, but it's definitely sharp enough for everyday carry use, cutting boxes open and stuff like that. And it looks like you do have some jimping up here to help you get a grip. Alright, now let's talk about the scales. The scales are G10, which, as I've said before, is my favorite handle material. And this is a fairly large knife, and you have a big grip. The grip is comfortable. You can see it's kind of shaped for your hand right here, and I can feel the clip, but it's not digging in. It's not really like a hot spot, and you can get a really solid grip on this knife. It feels like a strong knife. Like I said, you do have jimping up here, and there's also a finger choil if you need to choke up. But yeah, I think the grip is very good. It has good texturing on it as well, and it's comfortable. Now, again, it is kind of a large knife, and you can see that the scales, they're not the thinnest. So if you're thinking about this knife for an everyday carry piece, I think it can definitely work, but keep in mind that it's not the smallest and thinnest knife out there. Now, the locking mechanism on this knife is a liner lock, and you can see the piece right there. It's locking out the blade as it's deployed. To close it, all you do is turn that to the side and close it. And then to deploy the blade, you've got two options on this knife. You've got the flipper and you've got thumb studs on both sides. And the thumb studs are pretty bulky. Let's try those out. Okay. Thumb studs work and they've got texturing on them, which helps you get a grasp on them, and it helps make deploying the blade a little easier. But for me, I love flippers, and this flipper has a little bit of texturing. Let's see how it works. Beautiful. The deployment on this knife is smooth, and that's always something I'm looking for on these cheap blades, these affordable blades. Oh yeah, this is I'm liking this one, guys. Especially for like just a few bucks. I'm kind of fidgety and I like to fidget with these flippers like this. So yeah, the deployment on this blade is smooth, it's nice and easy. It's kind of weird because this is a large blade, pretty thick here, right, as you can see. And it just snaps right out. So yeah, I'm happy with the locking mechanism. I think the liner lock is going to be good enough for light tasks. And I really like that it's really smooth when you deploy the blade. Now the clip. So the clip is fairly large, and it's not a deep carry clip, so you're gonna have a big chunk of this knife sticking out of your pocket. But the clip sets you up for tip-up carry. It doesn't look like you can swap it to tip-down carry if that's what you're into, and it doesn't look like it's easily swappable to the other side either. Now I do want to show you what this knife looks like in a pocket. I've never seen it before in a pocket either, because I just opened it up right now. But let's see it together and talk about it a little bit. Okay. So as you can see, guys, you've got a lot of this knife that sticks out of your pocket. And it's kind of funny to me. That's probably the most I've seen of any of my knives. But I don't know. I don't think that's a problem for me. I'll have to experiment with carrying this knife around and give you an update later on. But that does seem like a lot to stick out. I mean, look at the other Eafengrow knife that I have. It like disappears. So I don't know if I like that too much. I mean, I don't really care if someone sees that I'm carrying a knife in my pocket, but I do prefer the deep carry clips. And it would have been nice to have a deep carry clip on this one so that it did sit lower. Oh, by the way, there is a little lanyard loop down there too. Forgot to talk about that earlier. So yeah, you definitely have a lot of knife in your pocket when you're carrying this thing around, because it is pretty large. But the clip sits fairly flat, and I don't know, it's definitely doable. I've carried large knives before like this, so as long as you're prepared for a large knife, I don't really think it's a problem if you want to carry this knife around in your pocket. Plus, since it does sit so high, it'll be easier to grab when you need it, because it's already sticking out. So there's always pros and cons to things, and if you're happy with a large knife, then I think it'll be pretty good. But like I said, I'll have to carry it around before I can definitely tell you if it's great to carry around. If you don't intend to carry it around, if you're going to keep it in a toolbox or keep it around the house or something like that, none of this really matters because you're not going to carry it around all day. So it does stick out a little bit. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. Just depends on what you want to do with the knife. Now, like I've told you before, this is a fairly large knife. So let's kind of measure it out and give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Because when I was looking at it online, I didn't realize that it would be this big. It doesn't bother me because I like large knives, I like small knives too. But if you are looking at this knife and considering it, I do want to give you a good idea of the size that you'll be getting. By the way, look how thick the knife is right there. It's pretty thick. All right. So first of all, here is my typical quarter, which I always show you because everybody knows the size of a quarter. And let's also measure it out. Alright, so in overall length, we're looking at maybe just under 9 inches. The blade, 3.5 to 4. And then you've got the handle maybe 5 inches there. So it's a pretty large knife. Which again, I don't think is a problem. It's just something you have to understand before you pick up the knife. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on this knife? Well, some of the things that I like are, I like that the blade is D2 steel. That's what I'm always looking for on these affordable knives, a good steel like D2. I like the blade shape, I think it's cool looking, and I think it will be a very good cutter. I like the handle design. I like that they use G10, and I like that it's comfortable, and also that you can choke up with the finger choil right there, and that you have the jimping. I do wish that the clip was a deep carry clip, rather than this kind of standard clip, but that's what they chose to go with, so that's what you're gonna get if you like this knife, and I don't think it's a deal breaker. And the thing that I really love about this knife is that you have a flipper and that it's smooth to deploy. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good knife considering how much money it costs. Again, it's very affordable, and I look forward to carrying it around and just having it as part of my collection. Now, is this the right knife for you? Well, if you're looking at this knife, then I think the thing you have to understand is that it's a lot larger than I thought it was right off the bat. But if you're looking for a large knife, then I think it's great because, again, you've got good steel, you've got a comfortable handle, and you've got a smooth deploying blade. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good knife, and I think it'll be a good part of my knife collection. Now, if you're eyeballing this knife and you think it's right for you, I will leave a link in the description below. That is an affiliate link, and it does help out the channel. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya.